Hello, humans and robots in the future studying the people who created them in the past. It's Brad, and I want to talk about why good spiritual teachers go bad. This subject has been one that's been really interesting to me. So, in the kind of world of spirituality, commercial spirituality, there are people who basically are just hucksters, and they have nothing to offer. They have no insights into anything. They just parlayed a good speaking game and a kind of an acting skill into trashy spirituality. Those guys don't interest me very much. The thing that interests me, that I see a lot more, is what appears to me to be a person who probably had an initial deep experience that could be called awakening or Kensho or Satori or whatever his tradition or her tradition deems that to be called, and somehow ended up going from being somebody who genuinely had something really, really poignant and real to offer to being just kind of a commercial hack who doesn't really have anything to offer except their own self-aggrandizement. How does that happen? This idea has been so interesting to me that a couple of occasions I've started working on a novel about it. I've never gotten farther than a page or two, not even two. I think a page. The page I've gotten to, for anybody who's interested in, I want to have the opening be at a kind of hipster bar, like the kind that are in my neighborhood, and the guy, the protagonist, is sitting there just nursing a beer or something, and somebody recognizes him, and they're like, "Hey, I was part of the children of God," and he's like, "Oh God, I'm so finished with that. Just shut up." And there ends up being some reason that this guy has to kind of put the band together, like the Blues Brothers. He has to put the cult back together for some reason. And our protagonist is a guy who initially had something really, really important to offer the world in terms of spirituality, for want of a better word, but who blew it all on becoming a kind of spiritual celebrity. I wonder how that happens. I think I have a kind of interesting perspective on it because I'm kind of at this weird middle-low level of it, right? I've got, 6 books out that sit on the shelves in Barnes and Nobles is all over the country, not getting bought because they're in the bottom. Occasionally, somebody buys them. So I've got a name. I've managed to parlay that into something that's, I don't know, that's working for the time being. I get just enough in donations that I can keep paying the rent on this place, and I can keep doing what I do without having to go get a real job, making burgers somewhere, probably because I have no marketable skills anymore. And so I think the natural thing most people in my position would want to do is like, let's take it to the next level. And often people are urging me to do that. People have a real interest in me taking it to the next level. And some of them are very nice people who are very sincere, who believe in what I do and believe in what I say and believe in my sort of unique, weird take on Zen Buddhism. But I'm always reluctant, and I'm always pulling things back. I don't really want to go to the next level, well, let's see where we go with that. Because every time you go to the next level, there's a certain amount of compromise that's involved. And in each level that you ascend to involves more and more and more compromise. I'm not sure exactly why this is, but I have some theories. For example, take a guy who starts out kind of like me, puts out a book, has some experiences in spirituality, has a real practice, has something, to offer, and I think I have something to offer. I'll be honest about that. I'm not so humble that I don't think I have anything to offer. I wouldn't make these videos. But, so he starts off with something to offer, maybe makes a book. I can relate to that because that's what happened to me. Makes a book and then realizes, we should start a temple or something, a center. Starts a center, but the center has bills to pay, and because it has bills to pay, it's got to keep the lights on, it's got to keep things moving, you got to get butts in seats. So how do you get butts in seats? Well, you got to amp up your message a little bit to make sure everybody keeps coming and everybody keeps contributing. And as they keep contributing, the thing gets bigger. And as the thing gets bigger, the person, I can sort of project myself into this person, has more responsibilities. So there's people on the payroll now. And so it's not just the guy who wrote the book who has to get paid. It's these people who are working for the guy who wrote the book. And then it gets bigger, and there are people who are working for the people who are working for the people who wrote the book, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And after a while, you've got this kind of monster that has to keep getting fed, right? And so how are you going to keep feeding this monster? Becomes a big question. So starting with great intentions of bringing this spiritual something that you found to the world, you've ended up with this monster you've got to maintain, and maintaining the monster takes over your life, and now it's the only thing you can do anymore is just keep feeding this monster, and you can go very bad that way. Another way that I think they go bad is adulation. I recently finished reading this book, Infinite Tuesday, by Michael Nesmith. I really liked it. Michael Nesmith was one of the monkeys, and he wrote this very interesting book about his life. It doesn't have as much monkey stuff as I'd want, but, that's not what he wants to write about. But one of the interesting things he writes about is what he calls celebrity psychosis. And it's what happened when he started to become famous as one of the monkeys. And he was only 24 years old when this happened. And you realize in that position that you've got power. And there is a kind of interest in seeing what you can do with this power, but there's no real understanding of where any of it's going to go when you start doing that. So people get into this thing and they have a certain amount of adulation thrown on them, and I get it all the time. I open my email every day and get praise, and which might sound like a nice thing, but it's a weird thing because I know I feel like, I don't know who they're praising. They're not praising this guy that's sitting here reading this, because I feel disconnected from that. They're praising something else. But you can get into it and you can feel that it's my thing and that I am worthy of this, and you start to make serious mistakes with your dealings with people. And I've made some mistakes in my dealings with people, but the more that you let this adulation come into you, the more mistakes you're going to make and the worse they're going to be. So that happens. And another interesting thing I think happens is the realization among people who end up doing that this is wrong. And so I have a theory that a lot of these people seek to undercut their own power. They're trying to kind of commit suicide. They're not really trying to commit suicide because they don't want to kill themselves, but they want to kill off that thing that everybody thinks they are, because it's such a burden to maintain, to maintain this image of saintliness or something. And so they'll try to undercut it by, I don't know, having an affair or sex is usually involved, but they'll do it in a kind of cloud, but knowing somewhere in the back of their minds that it's going to end up destroying their career, and that's what they want, because they want out. They want out of this. My way so far of dealing with it is I kind of take it slowly, and I've let things build, and I've allowed them to get to the point. I'm looking around in my little one-bedroom apartment in Silver Lake going, I got this, that's nice. Whether I could get a house up on the hills over there in Hollywood if I played my cards right, I think I probably could, or at least I think someone in my position could. I don't think I could, because I don't think I could be convincing. I have too much angst and punk rock hatred of everybody to be the kind of gregarious, nice guy that you have to be to make that happen. But I could probably do better, if I worked it. But I've for the past how many years? 14 years since Hardcore Zen came out. I've been trying to hold things in check, in a place where I can deal with it as time goes. And one of the things I've done recently is I've taken one of those steps that people do, and I opened a center. Well, I can't say I opened it. My friend Dave basically opened it, along with John and Ryland and Nina and some other people who were really wanting it to happen. Open this center with me as the figurehead, right? And this has been interesting because I can see where it could easily slide into something. For example, at the beginning of this year, we realized the center was in big trouble, that we're gonna have to shut down by springtime if things keep going this way, the way they've been going financially for the last year or so that we've had the place. So what I did is I put some of my own money into the center to try to keep it going, which is ironic because originally, one of the ideas of the center was to be an income source for me, that I would get paid for teaching there. That's not going to happen. But your donations, the donations I'm getting from you guys who watch these videos, was part of what I put into that center to keep it going. So that's nice. But the problem is, one of the temptations you have running a place like this is to go, well, what sells? What can I say that's going to get more butts in seats? And, I can compromise a little. I'll just stop saying you don't get reincarnated. I'll start just being, soft pedaling that one, and then be like, well, maybe you get reincarnated. And then people are like, well, wow, this guy says maybe you get reincarnated. Maybe you get. How? You do get reincarnated. Oh, good. Here's some money. You get reincarnated and you become a king. Yeah. Here, a lot of money. If you say this mantra, you'll get stuff. Wow. Here, tell me more of that. Tell me which mantra to say. I'll give you some more money. It becomes this bizarre thing that you just kind of keep going. And I think what happens is people sometimes, even though they start out with good intentions, they're just getting lost in all this because they don't know what to believe anymore. Because they're surrounded by people who are telling them, you got to do this. And then maybe their own conscience is saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe you shouldn't do that. And they're going, hey, here you go. Here's some more money. Here's some more stuff. Here's an opportunity to do a thing. And you're going to talk on the millions of people. And you're going to stand in front of this crowd that just stretches on for miles. And they're going to all love you. And you go, well, they love me because they love the thing I'm teaching. And it just becomes really horrible. My solution to it's probably a compromise, because I put out books. My first teacher, Tim, he's the one I look up to as somebody who's doing it right. He's totally anonymous. I've outed him a little bit, but if that guy wrote books, they'd be 10 times better than mine. They'd be so much better. But he doesn't do it because he understands where that's going to go. So he doesn't even get involved in it, and he just lives in his little place in Kent, and he's fine with that. Great. Me, I moved to LA, so I'm a sellout. But I try not to be. I try to do my best to use this position I have to be honest about how it works and make videos like this, and we'll see where this goes. So that's my short version. Maybe one of these days I'll write a novel. If you still, after hearing that, want to donate to me and contribute to all of this wonderfulness that I have been able to acquire, like this L King, that cost 458 yen, which is about $5. So that's cool, huh? Anyway, if you want to contribute to all of this, there are donation buttons below, links to Patreon and PayPal places to donate. Thanks a lot. I really do appreciate it. It really is what keeps this going and what keeps me going. And I'll try to keep telling you the truth in exchange for your money, or I'll at least be entertaining. So, bye.